year, everybody has lots to do. So if you think of any ACA questions now or during the webinar, you can send those along to Robin. At the end, we'll answer as many as we can. If we do run out of time, we can respond by email. So people always
Adam?
have questions. Yes.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention that we will record today's meeting. I apologize for the interruption.
Oh, yes, perfectly. So they're going to get a copy of it, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Sure. So we'll respond by questions by email. You'll get a copy of this in case there's anything you missed. If you have questions about the codes on the 1095C Part 2, I won't be directly addressing those in the main part of the presentation, but if anything is fair game. So send those questions along. I know that Part 2 is one of the biggest areas of confusion, so we'll get those things clarified for you. Okay, so we're going to quickly touch on our ACA software and our in-house service options, some of the reviews, a little background about Passport, and about how accounting professionals can partner with us to help your clients. First and most importantly, we have provided our IRS-certified and approved ACA solution since the first year of the Affordable Care Act, back in 2015. Due to many requests to handle the transmission of the electronic files or the entire administrative aspect, we added those service options for 2016. We have a one-time software licensing fee. If you love what it does and want to stay with it, annual renewals are extremely reasonable and ensure that the software is always compliant with changes to the ACA, as well as our own enhancements to make your life easier. There are no recurring monthly fees. Our software is the most user-friendly yet comprehensive option available. We make it easy to bring in employee information from any payroll system, which can generate a text file or spreadsheet, and you only need about 15 pieces of information per employee. We've seen absurd 150-column spreadsheets from competitors, and instead, we give you the tools to generate and maintain ACA codes and information much more efficiently. If you have any experience with the 1095C forms, the primary maintenance screen of our software will be very familiar, only better, because you can change an entire row of data with just one mouse click and one keystroke. And you can also change these codes and contribution amounts for all or some portion of your employees in a single mass update. So for instance, if you have a non-calendar year, plan year, you can go and input the new contribution amounts for everybody all at the same time. A good solution will print all the employee copies of the 1095C in addition to the IRS forms. Of course, Passport does that and more, from analysis and maintenance reports to generating the transmitter control code test files and interfacing with the IRS's TIN matching database. We handle self-insured clients and consolidated reporting for multiple EIN common ownership groups. And finally, most clients opt for the electronic filing option because they have over 250 full-time employees, multiple EINs, or because it's just plain easier, at least once you have your TCC. I mentioned before how the software is easy to read, easy to use. Here's a sneak peek of one screen, and you can notice the resemblance to the 1095C. Okay. I mentioned that we received many requests to save people from having to handle their ACA needs in-house. We have a complete service where we import and maintain the client's data on a secure server, provide optional part-time monitoring and management if required, screen the data for potential errors, print and mail 1095C employee copies to the employer, and electronically file on the client's behalf with IRS confirmation. And we do this with HIPAA agreements in place, and again, our services are IRS certified and approved. We have nearly a universal renewal rate among clients, and there are a couple reviews here. I'm not going to go reading them or tooting our own horn too much. If you want to read them or want other referrals, we can get those for you later. But we handle clients ranging from barely above the 50 employee threshold to an American division of an international automaker and everything in between. And a little bit about the company, you can read this here, but basically we've been in the Chicago area for over 35 years, and we offer over 20 financial and ERP modules to pick and choose from with integration. And the ACA is just one of those. For CPAs, we have a reseller and referral programs. We have training resources and live support. You can simply point clients to a solution and not have to get involved, or you can offer value-added services that you provide, from transmission of their electronic files through complete administration and monitoring. But either way, you have the opportunity to solve your clients' problems, which makes them happier and more loyal. Okay, time for questions. If you haven't already, you can send those to Robin. Again, there's the chat. If there are any we can't get to, we'll answer by phone or email later on. So, Robin, do we have any questions already, or?
Yes, I have one that's arrived. This one says, we have 5 or 6 clients for whom we are tracking ACA reporting data on spreadsheets. How would this system work for us?
Okay, 5 or 6 clients. I'm assuming they probably common ownership. I mean, so if so, then yeah, that's all linked. There will be we have the reports to not only monitor full-time, part-time status within an EIN, but if you have employees who work at multiple ones, we have reports that you can generate to even look at those. And then, of course, the actual electronic filing, it's in a consolidated one single transmission file where, you know, XML that gets uploaded, so you don't have to get 5 or 6 transmitter control codes or anything. You do it one time, or we do it one time for you. So I think that probably answers it.
Okay. Another one has come in. How is the client employee data moved into your system?
Okay. That would be the import spreadsheet I mentioned, where we have about 15 fields. Let me actually this here. Okay, I'll pull up our import template. So, in fact, I have a couple views of it. So this is basically that those fields. Actually, I did make another sheet where I put them on a vertical, so hopefully a little bit more easy to read. So I think you can probably see that. The employee, the ones in black bold are required fields, and the ones in gray are optional. So the basic stuff we need are employee ID, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip. Country can just be plugged in. Social, hire date, termination date if one exists, whether they're hourly or salary, and their pay frequency. So, and all that stuff should be available from a payroll source, as a text file or as a CSV or spreadsheet. So it's usually just a matter of moving those around. So here's the actual spreadsheet. If you want to bring in hours, which is only needed if you're monitoring the status, here's one to bring in, and you only require employee ID or social security number in case you're using something like QuickBooks. And then pay period, end date, and then you can use a total hours as a catch-all. If you want to, you can bring them in as separate types of hours, but they all are equivalent. Any paid hour of service is an hour that the ACA considers towards that part-time, full-time threshold. So there's that. If you are self-insured, we have another import template for covered individuals. So you put the employee's name, the payroll year, and then the individual's first and last name, either their social security number or their birth date, and then the months of coverage here. So,
Okay.
I think that answers the question.
All right. Well, and certainly we can leave that open if that individual would like to add more to that. Another one has come in. One of our clients has 250 employees that are all full-time. They are not self-insured, and there's not much tracking needed. How would this work for them?
Okay, so 250 employees, so not self-insured, so they don't have to worry about the covered individuals. Okay, well, just like we looked at with that import spreadsheet, they would not need to bring in hours, so no need for that. They would import their employee information. 250 employees means electronic filing. Our template generator in the software, basically, you're going to choose default values. In this case, our software makes that template generator takes into account whether the employee is hourly or salary. By definition, any salaried employee is going to be termed as full-time. Of course, those can be overridden at a later point, but you have the choice of whether your hourly employees are full or part-time. In this case, again, they said full-time. That's very easy. They would choose the codes and contribution amounts, but even then, our software will look at hire and termination dates and will automatically, for each individual employee, so if somebody was hired during the year, will automatically know not only to use codes 1H and 2A for basically to show that an employee was not working for those first few months, but even after the hire date, there's a setting in our software where, depending on your company policy, you choose whether to offer coverage the first complete month, second complete month, or third complete month that the employee was hired. So it's very customizable. So again, even things like employees coming or going during the year should automatically be taken care of. So, but that sounds like one of the easier cases because everybody's full-time. Depending on the contribution amounts, that would be one of the easiest cases.
Wonderful. Okay. Another question has come in. What about past years? Do we have any services that would address or kind of dealing with past year reporting?
I think I know where this is going. Just to answer the overall thing, our software archives those years, keeps records, doesn't allow you to delete them for at least 3 years. So those are all, and would be accessible if you have the software. But I think what they're asking is whether we can file for previous years, and yes, we can. We actually, each year so far, we've gotten several. In fact, we just had someone who they got a penalty notice for 2016, their 226J letter. We helped them respond to that. We did their filing for 2017, and this was last month. We did their 2017 tax year filing, and then we helped them prepare their 18, which we are about to transmit for them after they've distributed their employee copies of the 1095C shortly. So yes, every year we've distributed prior years for people who had either thought it was going away or just didn't know how to handle it or whatever. So
very helpful. All right. I don't have any other questions at this time, so maybe we'll wait a moment and see if there are any new ones that come in. Adam,
okay.
How would someone reach out to us if they have questions?
If anyone would like, they can email me directly. It's amiller, M-I-L-L-E-R, at pass-port.com. I'll type it here.
And note to self, I'll add a screen next time. My apologies.
Okay. Yeah. And then our phone number is, what's our, 800-969-7900.
Wonderful. Well, no other questions have come in. To those guests who have joined us today, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you at upcoming webinars. Thanks, Adam, for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.